Have you ever wondered why losing stubborn belly fat feels impossible, even when you're cutting calories and hitting the gym? Today we're diving deep into a truth most people never learn from mainstream diet advice. And it might just change how you think about food, fat, and your metabolism forever. Dr. Benjamin Bikman, a world-leading metabolic scientist and insulin expert, has spent decades studying the real drivers of fat storage and metabolic disease. What he's found flips the usual calories in, calories out narrative on its head. It all comes down to something most people take for granted. The hormone insulin, not calories, is the master switch that tells your body what to do with energy. Here's the story most people don't hear. In modern society, we constantly eat carbohydrates, sugar, bread, rice, pasta, and our bodies never experience a break in insulin production. Insulin's job is to shuttle glucose into cells, but when we never let it drop, it becomes a signal to store energy everywhere, especially in fat cells and in your liver. This isn't a myth, it's biology. Bikman explains that fat cells can't grow without insulin telling them to. Insulin is literally the command to store fat. So if insulin stays high all the time, your body never shifts into burning mode. It's always building and saving. That's why just eating less doesn't always work, because the signal to store energy is still on. Now here's where it gets fascinating. When insulin remains elevated, your liver decides to hold on to fat rather than release it. That's how the condition called fatty liver disease develops. Your liver becomes a fat reservoir because insulin is telling it, don't burn this. And this isn't just about liver fat, it creates a ripple effect in your whole metabolism. But there's good news. Bikman says that to reverse this, you have to get insulin out of constant high gear. That's where ketones come into the picture. Ketones are molecules your body creates when insulin is low and you're burning fat for fuel. They're not just energy, they act like a reset button for your appetite, your brain, and your metabolic pathways. Ketones can reduce hunger, improve focus, and flip your body into fat-burning mode, something calories alone can't do. One interesting point Bikman makes, and this often surprises people, is that you can have normal blood glucose but still be metabolically unhealthy. That's because insulin resistance, when your cells stop responding properly to insulin, can be silent for years. People feel fine, see normal sugar numbers, but underneath the surface, their insulin is driving storage and inflammation. And here's a real story that illustrates this. One man went through years of high liver fat and metabolic dysfunction before he even knew he had a problem. His glucose tests were normal, but when his insulin was checked, it was sky high, a clear sign that his body was mismanaging fuel. Once he addressed his insulin, not just calories, his liver fat dropped, energy improved, and inflammation decreased. This kind of transformation doesn't come from just eating smaller portions. It comes from changing what signals your body sends. Bikman also talks about why many modern weight loss drugs, like GLP-1 agonists, might help with short-term results, but could mask deeper metabolic issues and even worsen muscle loss over time if insulin remains uncontrolled. A fasting insulin test, he says, can often reveal metabolic trouble years before diabetes ever shows up on a glucose test. And finally, one of the most compelling take-homes, shrinking fat cells and detoxing your liver isn't about perfection. It's about giving your body metabolic relief. Lowering insulin through carbohydrate management and periods of elevated ketones doesn't just help you lose weight. It rewires how your body decides what to do with energy. That's why some people feel clearer, calmer, and more energetic once their body switches into a fat-burning state. So if your goal isn't just to lose weight but to change your metabolic destiny, the question isn't how much you eat. It's how your hormones respond to what you eat. And when it comes to fat loss and liver health, insulin is the hormone you can't ignore.